Got your Raw review right here for you. We start off the night with Laurinaitis and Mick Foley in a segment. Mick Foley announces that he's going to be the interim general manager for Raw and SmackDown. And Laurinaitis, as you know, is fired. He comes out to give his farewell speech, but he doesn't. He says that he's booked one last match for tonight, and that was David Otunga, Big Show, and himself against John Cena in a handicap match. Yeah, great match. And Mick Foley announces his first match as the interim general manager. And it's some tag team match that we already saw on SmackDown. He barely got any mic time, Mick Foley. Laurinaitis hogged the whole thing, so I guess there's truth to it that Triple H doesn't want Mick Foley to get too much face time on TV. They barely let him talk on the mic tonight. Okay, so anyway, that segment was very disappointing. I expect Mick Foley to make it funny. It wasn't funny. It was boring. Yeah, just a bad segment overall. First match of the night, the one I just mentioned, Sheamus and CM Punk beat Daniel Bryan and Kane. Not a bad match, better than the one on SmackDown, just a little bit better. I'd give it about 2 stars. AJ comes skipping around the ring with a Kane mask on. Looked really stupid. Kane gets distracted and chases her out of the ring, stalks her like some type of internet stalker, just stalking her. Very creepy. And Kane just a joke. I mean, he's falling in love with a little girl that looks like she's 17 years old. So Kane is just chasing after this. It's pathetic. We're supposed to take him seriously. I'm beginning to learn that every Kane match is ruined. He hasn't been relevant since 99 or 2000. So every Kane match nowadays is just boring. It's just not working anymore. Daniel Bryan is finished off in this match like some kind of chump. He gets jumped by Sheamus and CM Punk, and he just looks like a joke. He looked like a joke on the last episode of Raw, and he looked like a joke now. It's a shame. Anyway, Ziggler beats Jack Swagger in a really disappointing match. You know, this matchup could have been great because you got 2 great wrestlers. Swagger has got him in the ankle lock for like 3 whole minutes. Now, that would be a good spot. You know, I accept that if this was Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. But it's not Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. Swagger is a jobber, so obviously you knew that he's not going to tap out. They're not going to have the guy who was just challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship tap out to a jobber. It made no sense at all. He manages to just get out of the ankle lock and simply hit his finisher, making Swagger look like a chump. Then he kisses Vicky Guerrero, disgusting. You know, this is just a way of breaking up the tag team. No one even cares. Nobody liked this tag team. You know, I was thinking to myself, man, they're breaking up a tag team that's been together for months, and they're just going to throw it away on Raw. But who's going to buy a pay-per-view with a matchup between these guys? It's not a draw, you know, but it could have been a lot better. Up next, we got Triple H and Paul Heyman in a really good segment. Good mic work. Triple H ends up knocking Paul Heyman at the end. This was just great mostly because of Paul Heyman. Not really so much with Triple H, but there was a good interaction. Paul Heyman says none of the lawsuits will be dropped. Brock is not going to fight Triple H. You know, that's a little bit reused though, because they just used this angle where Triple H was refusing to face Undertaker at WrestleMania. Now they're going to make like Brock Lesnar is not going to face Triple H at SummerSlam. But you know that he is. So it's just a fucking waste of time. And up next we've got Alberto Del Rio returning against Santino. I don't understand how he's returning one day after the pay-per-view, but I guess they booked him in a short match to be careful. He beats him, and it's just lame. Ricardo beats down Santino after the match. They really got to get away from this. The Santino match from No Way Out, I didn't see the pay-per-view, but I heard that it was horrible. I read about it. So yeah, this is just whatever squash match. Nothing too spectacular here at all. Nothing good. Just I don't see the point of it. Del Rio's already an established star. Why does he have to be in squash matches? Up next, the worst segment I've ever seen on Raw. Now, that I could remember at the moment. This was just pathetic. Cyndi Lauper, of all people, who is a good singer. I like her. I have one of her best of CDs. But she was popular in the 80s. No one of the current crowd, the generation, is going to really know who Cyndi Lauper is. People who were born in the 80s are probably not going to know who Cyndi Lauper is. She comes out with Wendy Richter after being introduced by Layla, of all people, like she's some type of big star. She doesn't even get a reaction when she comes out. Much like Cyndi Lauper, when she came out, nobody cared. She starts cutting a promo, and the crowd chants, "We want Ryder." Nobody fucking gave a shit. Slater comes out and he tries to be funny, and I've already mentioned I like Slater. I think he's funny, and he's got a lot of personality, more charisma than half the roster. Anyway, he starts singing, and it's not even really funny. It's just annoying. Piper comes out, and Michael Cole is just making fun of the whole segment, which was funny, but it's kind of pathetic that they're having their own announcer just defecate all over the segment. Why did they book it in the first place? Piper takes the same record that was framed, that he bashed over Lou Albano's head 27 years ago, and presents it to Lauper. Slater and Michael Cole are screaming that this happened 27 years ago. Why is it happening now? Good fucking point. If they're admitting on air and making fun of it, why book it on the fucking show? I don't understand it. This happened 27 years ago. Why do we keep looking to the past, bringing out Roddy Piper, bringing out Cyndi Lauper, Wendy Richter, who looks like a fucking man of all people? I mean, why bring these people out? No one gives a flying fuck about any of these people. Piper did get a reaction, a big reaction, but at what cost? So this was just pathetic in all ways, shapes, and forms. And Cyndi Lauper just completely ignoring the crowd, booing her and chanting, "We want Ryder." So that was just fucking horrible and pathetic in the same breath. Up next, we got Primo and Epico defeating the Primetime Players by countout. This was just a short, ridiculous match. They just walk out of the match so they could have a rematch in the future. No one even cares about this tag match, so I don't know why it was booked, why they're even bothering with a feud. Just get new tag teams. It was an okay match for being 2 minutes. I mean, it was fast paced, and nobody looked particularly bad, but it wasn't really anything to speak of. It was just a piece of shit filler match on the card. And up next, we get Big Show, Laurinaitis, and Otunga versus John Cena. And mostly it was David Otunga and John Cena, because Big Show walked out of the matchup. And then Laurinaitis refuses to tag Otunga. Otunga is doing some really boring offense on Cena, some elbows that looked like crap, and just really horrible action here. Finally, Laurinaitis tags himself in, and then when he starts getting the shit beat out of him, he tries to tag Otunga, but Otunga just walks out, and then John Cena FUs him 3 times. Just really anticlimactic, boring, supposed to be a feel-good moment. It ended too conventionally. I thought maybe after this whole shittiness, I was hoping that something exciting, something of meaning would happen. Like they were going to have somebody return or to come beat up Cena or something, just to like promote interest, to perhaps gain some more viewers. But no, they didn't. They just sided with the by the numbers finish of Cena pinning Laurinaitis, and so that's it. I mean, that was the match, and that was the card. I mean, this was just from top to bottom horrible. You had Mick Foley. He's in the opening segment. He barely talks. So what's the point of having him as the GM? It's almost like he doesn't exist anyway. You had the worst segment I've seen in quite some time with Cyndi Lauper. Garbage filler matches. One little decent tag match to open the show, and Heyman was good to see. But this was just garbage. I mean, I look at this card, and the longest thing on it was the Cyndi Lauper segment. And that was the worst part of the show. And it was the longest one. Dedicating so much time. They should be looking to the future. They're going to have Raw 3 hours. And this is what they're doing with their time. Fuck you, WWE. Fuck you.